Ladies and gentlemen, today I give you the top 10 combat tactics for D&D 5th edition using Foundry Virtual Tabletop in version 10. I will explain the main benefits of each combat tactic and demonstrate how they work on screen. The best general purpose D&D tactic is using melee enemies as cover against ranged enemies. I rank this an S tier tactic on the following merits. Your character gains an armor class bonus of +2 or +5 when using cover. This is a tremendous upgrade that boosts your chances of avoiding regular attacks by 10 to 25%. On top of that, you can force your adversaries to risk a 10 to 25% chance of hurting their own teammates. This directly steals damage potential from your enemies and boosts your contribution. As a cherry on top, you waste your enemy's action, which improves your team's action economy compared to the monsters you are fighting. The most underused D&D tactic is creating a fatal funnel for your enemies. I rank this an A+ tactic. You can create a fatal funnel when you maneuver your character in a way that forces enemies to attack you in smaller numbers. For example, you barricade a door with your friends and only let one monster enter at a time. This lets you and your friends complete all your attacks, but the enemies can only do one attack. This first-class tactic is great for any battle with choke points like doors, ladders, stairs, ravines, sewers, and caves. The most underestimated D&D tactic is exploiting initiative to destroy your enemy's action economy. I rank this an A tier tactic. Initiative determines the order in which characters take actions in an encounter. You can force your opponents to ready an action on their turn instead of completing effective actions. For example, a scout wants to shoot a multi-attack at you, so you hide behind a stone wall until after their turn ends. This forces them to ready an action to shoot you. Now, when you charge at them, they can only shoot once rather than multiple times. The key is patience. The most game-changing D&D tactic is using falling damage. I rank this a B tier tactic. Falling damage deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage per 10 feet fallen. You know that some monsters have crazy high defenses. You can penetrate those defenses by pushing monsters out of a building or off a ledge or putting a dragon to sleep in the air and letting them fall to their death. As a cherry on top, you can shove monsters so they collide with other monsters when they hit the ground for double the effect. The most basic and misused D&D tactics are the dodge, disengage, and dash actions. I rank these as C tier tactics because most people don't understand when to use them. As a rule of thumb, you dodge when you are outnumbered more than 3 to 1. Your objective is to stall the enemy until your allies help. As a rule of thumb, you disengage to reposition yourself on a battlefield. Your objective is to avoid a threat or fight enemies that you have an advantage against. As a rule of thumb, you dash in order to enter combat or retreat from combat. Your objective is to minimize the amount of time enemy archers and wizards attack you from range. The most well-known D&D tactic is catching your opponents by surprise. I rank this a B tier tactic because everyone knows this is important, but no one knows the tricks of the trade. For example, during an ambush, you should have traps set up like caltrops, ball bearings, oil traps, pit traps, and hunting traps. Gaining a surprise round to deal damage is good. Baiting your enemies into terrible positions is even better. The most obvious D&D tactic is using opportunity attacks. I rank this a C+ tactic. When your enemies leave your melee range, you normally gain one free attack on them. Thus, I recommend that you position yourself next to gravely wounded foes, so when they run away, you can finish them off. The best D&D tactic is to focus fire on enemies. I rank this a B tier tactic because players often separate in battle into smaller individual fights. It is important to eliminate one enemy at a time so you can reduce the fighting power of the enemy team as quickly as possible. This reduces the damage your team takes as a whole and reduces the action economy of the opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you have any comments, please let me know in the comments section below. If you share our vision of creating amazing interactive adventure games, we have a whole playlist of helpful and awesome FoundryVTT videos in the video description below for your thoughtful consideration.